guys, Robot1 here and Charmander in the background, as always, coming at you with another Yu-Gi-Oh video. And in today's Yu-Gi-Oh video, we're going to be talking about not one of the best Yu-Gi-Oh sets ever created, but a set that has some pretty good cards in it. Now, the set we're going to be talking about today is Blazing Vortex. Yes, that set that has War Rocks in it, that is just not the best deck ever made in the game, that has the really good new Metal Foes cards in it, that has the new Virtual World card in it, has all these new really cool TCG exclusive cards in it, and today we are going to be talking about this set and the top 5 best cards coming out in it. Seeing as the set sneak peek should be this weekend and then the actual release of the set is next week, well, with lockdown and everything, it might be a bit different, but even still, we're going to be talking about the top 5 cards in this set. We're going to look at them, we're going to discuss them, we're going to talk about why they're the best cards in the set in this order, and that's pretty much the video, guys. So without further ado, let's actually start with the first one at number 5. The 5th best card in this set is Heavenly Zephyr Mirador. Now, this is a secret rare card coming out in Blazing Vortex. It is actually pretty good for what it does. It's basically a hand trap that isn't the best hand trap ever made, and it does have its ups and downs, but it's still a pretty good hand trap for the reason it's in this set. Now, this card basically has this effect. If a monster is special summoned from the extra deck with 2000 attack or more, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned from your hand, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. That will special summon from the extra deck. While this face-up card is on the field, that monster cannot activate its effects. Now, the reason why this card is so good is for a couple of reasons. One, it also has the additional effect that says this card cannot be chained to. So your opponent cannot negate this card's effects. They can attempt to negate the effects, but they cannot negate the activation of this card's effects. So the reason why this card is so good, in my personal opinion, in this set is because this card actually has the ability to stop a lot of really good cards in the game right now, such as negate cards, such as Boral Savage Dragon. Your opponent special summons it, they go Chain Link 1 Boral Savage to equip, you go Chain Link 2 Mirador, target your opponent's Boral Savage and then negate its effects. You can go ahead and target the VFD on your opponent's board, then they can't activate the VFD effect on your own turn. You can go ahead and target the Utopic Zexal on your opponent's board and go ahead and negate that. Basically, Mirador is a really good card because it says, I go ahead and prohibition any special summon monster from the extra deck. And having an effect, hand trap effect, that is pretty much just prohibition for that face-up card, or even Fiendish Chain or Sword Break, the Phantom Knight Sword trap that negates monster effects, is really, really nice to have that kind of hand trap in the game. Now, obviously, this card isn't as strong as other cards, just maybe Effect Veiler and things along those lines, but the reason this card is so good is because against stuff like Virtual World, this card basically stops your opponent from activating the VFD and then going ahead and using the Chuche, the trap card, to go ahead and destroy it. So it has that added bonus as well. So Mirador is a really decent card coming out in this set. It's only the 5th best card in the set. It is a secret rare, meaning it's going to be kind of hard to get. I can see this card being about 30 quid on release, maybe going up as well, just because people want the card and want that like access to the hand trap. So if you guys want to pick that up, that's just my guess on what it will first be. But this card is definitely a decent card coming out in Blazing Vortex, and it's definitely a card that shouldn't be ignored, just for the fact that it can stop stuff like VFD and Utopic Zexal really, really easy. So at number 5, we got Mirador. Let's go on to number 4. So at number 4. Number 4 is Tri-Brigade Kit, a new super rare coming out in Blazing Vortex that really does give the Tri-Brigade deck a lot more support than a lot of people think. Now, Tri-Brigade Kit is basically just like any other Tri-Brigade, where you can go ahead and banish any Winged Beast, Beast, or Beast Warrior monsters from your graveyard to go ahead and special summon a Link monster from your extra deck that is a Beast, Winged Beast, or Beast Warrior. But the reason why I think this card is actually a lot better than a lot of the other cards in this set is because of the effect on Kit, the additional effect that every Tri-Brigade has. Now, what Kit does is, when this card is sent to the graveyard, you get to go ahead and send any Tri-Brigade monster from your deck to the graveyard. Now, this is absolutely insane for Tri-Brigade for a couple of reasons. One, this card instantly gives you the ability to get more materials in the graveyard and boost the Tri-Brigade strategy in that way, seeing as every Tri-Brigade, as I stated, has the ability to summon link monsters from the extra deck by banishing Beast Warriors, and Wing Beasts from the graveyard. So instantly, you have the ability to fill your graveyard up even more to get into any of your really good Tri-Brigade link monsters, or even other Beast Warrior, or Wing Beast link monsters that you might want to summon from the extra deck. But this card also gives you the ability to use cards with itself, such as Fractal, because when you send this card to the graveyard with Fractal, you've not only put 2 monsters in the graveyard to be able to go into that link monster in the extra deck, but you also have the ability to send a third one, such as Naval, the Tri-Brigade, that will allow you to search any other Tri-Brigade from your deck to your hand, and then you can just go ahead and normal summon that Tri-Brigade to go ahead and summon more link monsters from your extra deck. So you summon the link free Tri-Brigade, then you can just go ahead and link the two, the link free and the Tri-Brigade monster you might have searched together to go ahead and make your Shirag, the big Tri-Brigade that will go ahead and banish cards on your opponent's board. So basically, Kit is really strong for the Tri-Brigade strategy, and I feel like it is the 4th best card in the set just because of that, because it makes the deck, one, even more consistent in ways, because legit you can just go ahead and normal summon it and make even maybe like an Almirage, for instance, because if you do go ahead and make an Almirage, then you can just go ahead and send something from your deck to your graveyard, such as Naval, which will allow you to gain more monsters there, such as Fractal, and then go even more in your graveyard, and you can even go so much further just because of this card. So Kit is just a really strong card. It helps you fill up the graveyard, it helps the deck a lot, it gives you an additional strategy to go ahead and make more plays and get to more different cards, and I feel like that's just really nice in the deck, because it can be counted just as good as Naval, because of it basically is Naval, but it gets 2 monsters in the graveyard instead of 1. It's basically you're playing 6 Naval in the deck and having 6 Rotors in the deck, which I feel like is really nice. So yeah, number 4 is Kit. I feel like it's just a really good card in this set, especially for Tri-Brigade, and I definitely give it the number 4 spot. So let's actually go on to number 3 now, though, because we've talked enough about Kit. Number 3, we have Psychic Eraser Laser. Now, this is a new spell card coming out in Blazing Vortex that is a super rare that pretty much is self-explanatory to why it's one of the best cards in the set. Now, what this card does is you can send 1 monster your opponent controls that was special summoned from the extra deck to the graveyard. Then, your opponent gains life points equal to its original defense or attack, whichever is higher. You can only activate 1 of this card per turn. Now, the reason why this is going to be considered one of the best cards in the set, in just my personal opinion, is because it's another free removal card. And seeing as we're in a kind of like a game state right now in Yu-Gi-Oh! Where the best cards in the game are single boss monsters such as VFD or Utopic Zexal with the Numeral Network stuff, then you've got really a lot of reasons why this card is one of the best cards in the set. Now, don't get me wrong, there are better cards in the game compared to this card that are just free removal cards. You've got stuff like Brigade Kit, Dark Hole, but this is the reason why this is actually really nice, just in my personal opinion, is because it doesn't target the opponent's monster. So this card can be considered an out not only to just VFD or to stuff like Utopic Zexal, but this card can also be considered an out to Dragoons, for instance, a really strong card in the game that pretty much just says, oh, I'm going to negate anything, I can't be targeted or destroyed, and I get to deal with a lot of my opponent's stuff. So Psychic Eraser Laser is just a really cool card because it's just a free removal for the Dragoons in the game, and I feel like that just makes it one of the best cards in the game because it's non-targeting, which is always really nice in the game, and having a non-targeting removal effect is always going to be strong in the game, and I feel like Psychic Eraser Laser is just one of the best cards in the set because of that. So at number 3, we have Psychic Eraser Laser. Let's go ahead and go on to number 2. Number 2 is potentially my favorite card in the set and the card that I want most out of this set, and that is Underworld, Goddess of the Closed World. This is a secret rare Link 5 monster that I personally feel is just really nice. So, what does this card do for starters? Well, first of all, it takes 4+ effect monsters to actually summon the card, so it's not the easiest card to actually summon in the game. But it does have a really strong effect that makes it a bit easier. So, for this card's Link Summon, you can use up to 1 monster your opponent controls as Link material. So right off the bat, if my opponent has any monster on the board that I personally don't like, and I have 2 monsters plus a Link monster, it's a Link 2, then I can just go ahead and look at my opponent and be like, yeah, you can send that card to the graveyard, I'm going to be summoning this. That's just the first effect. The second effect, if this card is Link Summoned, you can negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent controls. just really strong there. It's an instant skill drain on the board as soon as it's summoned. And those are permanent negates, I might add. So if your opponent has a lingering effect on the board, that card effect ain't coming back, which is really, really nice. Third effect, this Link Summon card is unaffected by your opponent's activated cards that do not target it. So pretty much, if your opponent has an Omni Negate board, where they have like 5 negates on the board, and you've managed to get to those 4 monsters, and you get rid of that one, those other 4 negates, yeah, they're negated and they can't actually affect it unless they target Closed World's Link monster. So just really strong there. And then the final effect that really just puts the nail in the coffin is, once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect that includes an effect that special summons a monster from the graveyard, quick effect, you can negate the activation. So if your opponent wants to Monster Reborn anything, or just revive anything from the graveyard in general with an effect, you can be like, nah, can't do it. Sorry, you're not allowed to negate it. You're not allowed to summon from the graveyard. So it's just like, this card is absolutely insane. Having another goddess monster such as Appaloosa, which is pretty much probably this card's sister in the game, is really, really strong. And Closed World is just a really, really strong Link monster in the game. And honestly, being able to use my opponent's monsters, negate the opponent's entire board, being unaffected by anything that doesn't target, and then just being able to negate the graveyard, it's absolutely insane, and definitely deserves this card as the number 2 spot in this set, just being beat out by the number 1 card that I feel like will be even better than this card overall. So yeah, number 2 is definitely the Underworld Goddess. Really strong card, a card that I definitely want to get one of at least, because this card is absolutely insane. So guys, though, let's go on to number 1 and get into the last card we're going to be talking about. So at number 1, the best card being released in Blazing Vortex without all the other garbage as well out there is Pot of Prosperity, a new pot card which is honestly absolutely insane in comparison to every pot card we've actually had. Outside of Pot of Greed is still the best pot card. I will never not say that, because it just literally says +1 and you can't complain. But Pot of Prosperity is a really, really strong card that says you can banish 3 or 6 cards from your extra deck face down. So instantly, the thing that I'm going to state right now is, you can banish 3 or 6 cards from your extra deck face down. Best part about this card, you choose the cards you are banishing face down. So unlike Pot of Desires or Pot of Extravagance, you can go ahead and choose the monsters you are banishing from your extra deck. You don't have to just banish 10 random cards from the top of your deck. You don't have to just banish 10 random cards for extra deck. You choose the cards you are banishing, which is really, really nice. Now, let's continue with this card's effects though. You excavate cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of banished cards. So if you banish 3 from your extra deck, you go ahead and excavate 3. If you banish 6, you go ahead and excavate 6. You can add one of those cards from your deck to your hand. Also, place the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, any damage your opponent takes is halved. You cannot draw any cards by a card effect the turn you activate this effect. You can only activate 1 Pot of Prosperity per turn. So pretty much this card has a really big drawback where you can't activate draw cards for the rest of this turn, which you're probably not going to be doing if you're playing 3 Pot of Prosperity anyway, and also your opponent takes half damage for the rest of this turn. Now, those 2 drawbacks I feel are fine, because yes, you're banishing 3 to 6 cards and your opponent takes half damage and you cannot draw cards for the rest of the turn by effects, but let's be honest guys, you're adding one of the top 6 cards from your deck to your hand. That could be any card among those 6 cards. So say you have a really strong trap card. You're playing Altergeist, and there's a really strong trap card such as Skill Drain or Solemn Warning or Solemn Judgment, something like that, that you want to add to your hand because you already have all these other really good cards in your hand. Well, you can just go ahead and pick that card out of those 6 cards, add it to your hand, and put the other 5 cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. Oh, you needed to get to a really strong card in your deck, and in those top 6 cards, it's there. Well, Pot of Prosperity has instantly added it to your hand. Pot of Prosperity is essentially a rotor for the top 6 cards of your deck, which I feel is really, really strong, because you start off with 5 cards, you've got 35 cards left in your deck. If you're playing a 3 of in your deck and you didn't open it in your opening hand, activating Pot of Prosperity says, oh, I turn my 5 card hand into an 11 card hand, which is just absolutely insane, because if that one card you needed to be able to go off, or to be able to combo, or to be able to get to a specific play you wanted to do, is there in those 6 cards, and you're playing free of the card, and you're most likely going to see it with this card, it's going to be really, really strong. So Pro Prosperity is definitely a card that I'm going to be seeing in this set. It's a card that I'm going to have to pick up 3 of, because this card is absolutely insane for control decks, and I want to play 3 of it in my Altergeist deck. And honestly, guys, this card is just a really, really nice card. It's a really strong card, and it's easily going to be a £50 card in this set. So, guys, definitely pick these up if you can. But, yeah, guys, that's the video, though. These are the top 5 cards in Blazing Vortex. As I said at the beginning, there are other cards that are really, really strong, such as the Virtual Worlds, the Metal Foes cards. War Rock is just garbage, don't touch it. And anyway, these are the top 5 cards that I feel are in the set. This set is not the best set though, guys, honestly. Personally, I feel like this is like a 1-box buy, and then you don't buy any more boxes, and then you buy singles, because, like, honestly, like, I love opening product, but this set, it just doesn't yield a lot of profit or a comeback for me. And I just look at a lot of this stuff in the set, and I only really care about the Metal Foes cards, the Underworld Goddess, and the Pot of Prosperity. So, yeah, but you can tell me your thoughts about this set in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this set, guys, because obviously everybody has their own thoughts and opinions. You could really like the War Rock stuff. You could just be buying this set to get the new Virtual World. You can have your own opinion, but personally, these are the 5 cards in this set that I feel are really, really strong, are really, really good, and you should definitely be picking up. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the description where I have all the links to my Twitch, my Instagram, my Discord server, where you can go ahead and ask me questions and anything along those lines. And I will see you guys in the next one. Raw About One signing out. Just buy the singles, really though, guys. I definitely recommend it. Raw About One signing out. I'll see you guys later.